What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Risk Syndicate. Today, we're going to be talking about a watch that was noticed in one of my previous videos when I was talking about the movements and which movement was better. A guy was like, hey, what's up with that purple watch? Do one on the purple watch. So that's what we're here for. A little quick wrist check. I have the negative display Casio AE 1500. I cannot get enough of these little cheap watches. And I'm not even a digital guy, not even a quartz guy. I like mine, but something about these, I can just throw it on and I ain't gotta worry about it. But that's what we're not here to talk about, right? Before we get into the watch, man, I turn 47 next month. And I'm a former athlete, played football for a long time. I did professional wrestling. I've done, played softballs in leagues, played baseball growing up, everything, right? Now that I'm getting older and starting to wind down, so I was like, shit's starting to fall apart. So like right now I have a skin graft from a bone biopsy I had done 6 weeks ago. I'm actually getting a skin graft removed tomorrow and the staples, getting that removed out of my toes. So I'm fortunate for that. But the other day, we went to do something and started getting sharp pains at the top of my chest. Like I just did an incline bench. Like that feeling you get like the next day. And like every time it only happened when I would take a deep breath. I ended up going to the doctor, ended up going to the ER. Everything came, I knew it wasn't my heart, but I thought it was something to do with my lungs. Because my mom, she was a heavy smoker when we were kids. And me, my brother, and my sister, none of us smoked because of how much we hated it. But I thought for sure something was wrong with my lungs. Kind of find out I got gallstones, so I probably have to have those removed. Got to have something to do with the cholesterol or something, the hardening of the veins or some shit going in my heart. So I got to go see but fellas, Lady Sue, if you're watching, as you get older, go to the doctor, get checked out. Do not put it off. Like, oh, I'll do it next week. No, if you have kids, you owe them to go to the doctor and make sure you're good, because the worst thing I can imagine is something happened to me, and because of me not doing my due diligence to go get checked out, and then my kids don't have me around to protect them, to help them, to guide them through life. Like that's like the worst thing. So in my eyes, so that's my little thing for today. But as Jody would say from One More Watch, let's turn this camera around and let's get into it. All right, so let's get into it. I purchased this watch as a dress watch for when we signed on our house. I've only worn it that one time for signing on the house. I've worn it to church, and I wore it one night on a cruise. But to me, it's more than just a watch. It's a memory, right? Every time I look at that watch, I will think about the day that we signed on our house. So that's what this watch means to me. Do I wear it every day? No, I don't even wear it once a week. It's like a special occasion, date night, that kind of watch. So let's dive into this shiny distraction. Have you ever bought a San Martin? You know the deal with the green boxes, the embossed leather, the little green pillow. Nice little touch. If you ever bought a San Martin, you already know what's up. Clean this thing off real quick, because my fingers be getting greasy. Be putting this oil on here. It's never a good look. Making all the big boys out there look shiny, because I'm a big boy. Clean it all. Yeah. There we go. All right. This is the San Martin SN0144. 42 millimeters of stainless steel glory, rocking that purple. I'm about to butcher the teetotal piss out of this name. Jean Zon dial. Google it. JIANZHAN. But yes, purple. Because nothing says confidence like strapping royalty to your wrist and pretending it's casual. And before you roll your eyes and go, oh, great, another random AliExpress special, slow down. This one's got some surprises under the hood. And on the dial, that makes it more than just another, dive clone. So grab a snack, maybe a drink, make it a rum and coke, because we're about to spend way too long talking about a watch that costs less than your monthly internet bill. I mean, how much are y'all watching? Holy cow. Because, I mean, this thing's $300 something. Woo. All right. Let's get back to it. So first, San Martin. Who are they? No, they're not a heritage Swiss brand founded in 1842 by monks with pocket watches. They're a Chinese micro brand founded in 2016 by a guy named Mr. Lau. And if you're ever dipped a toe in watch forums, you've probably seen San Martin mentioned with that mix of skepticism and surprise, like, wait, this Chinese brand has finishing better than Seiko at half the price? Yeah, that's them. They started off doing homages, polite word for copycats, but somewhere along the way, they figured out, hey, let's actually make our own designs, add some personality, and maybe, just maybe, give people value. And now they're one of the few micro brands that the snobs kind of nod at, even if it kills them on the inside. You know what I'm talking about, them old peaky finger up mother. But anyway, so let's talk about the star of the show, this dial. Let me see how close I can get to the camera so you can see this bad boy. San Martin calls it a Zhanzan dial, named after a type of ancient Chinese pottery, famous for its deep, shimmering glaze that shifts in the light. Historically, Zhanzan pottery came out in the Song dynasty, prized for its richness and complexity. Now, full honesty, this dial isn't actually made of pottery, it's enamel, but that's not a knock. Enamel dials are notoriously hard to produce well, and this one nails it. What you get is a purple finish that isn't flat, isn't boring, but alive. Tilt your wrist and it has depth, like staring into a polished gemstone. It's not like your typical gradient or sunburst. This has texture, tradition, and shimmer all rolled into one. The applied indices stand tall against that purple enamel. See how much of an angle I can get so you can see the depth. Yeah, boy. But they're polished and filled with enough lume to light your way through a blackout. San Martin doesn't mess around with lume. And if you're up at 12 o'clock, you're going to see that San Martin shield, reflecting the lume. It's minimal, sharp, and way better than the awkward fonts that you're used to slapping on, these other companies that slap on their dials. So that's a nice touch. You have the San Martin at the 12 o'clock, their logo, which is a nice touch. And then you just have them print down at the bottom, automatic, 100 meters, 300 something. Boy, the old eyes can't read, boy. 100 meters, whatever that equals to, 300. Yeah, I need my glasses. But we also have the date window at 6 o'clock, which is chef's kiss to me. So, and it has a little framed date window, which is also a nice touch. They could have put a white date window. They didn't. They did a purple to match the dial with a white font, which is, to me, well above. All right, let's move on to the case, because this is where San Martin flexes their muscles. The SN0144 is 42 millimeters across without the crown, with a lug to lug just under 50. And honestly, at 13 millimeters, it's not that thick to me. I mean, compared to some of these other watches I've done, this feels almost paper thin compared to the others. But I also think it has to do with the movement that's inside of it. But it's thick, but it's not like, clown shoe will clip thick. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't take up half your forearm when it's on your wrist. It's stainless steel, brushed with polished chamfers. Is that how you say it? Campers. Oh, I can't wait for Battlefield 6. And honestly, The finishing here is shockingly good for the price. Like, you put it side by side with some 4-figure Swiss divers, and you'll start asking uncomfortable questions about where your money is going. Water resistance, already nailed it, 100 meters, because, you know, I'm not trying to do business meetings at the bottom of the ocean, you know what I mean? It's more than enough. You can wash your hands, take a shower, take a dip in the pool, you'll be fine. This watch will survive it. The bezel, there isn't one. It's fixed. So if you're looking for a fidget toy to spin while you're at church, this ain't for you, bro. Find a new way home, pizza boy. Anyway, bracelet. And here's the bracelet. You got the sign fold over clasp, which is nothing but class. You get all the extensions. Now, I will say this. If you order this watch, make sure you reach out to their customer service and if you have big wrists like me, over 8 inches, ask for 2 extra links. Okay? Because you're going to need it. But it has solid end links, which is always class. You get this nice design, which I have no idea what it says, but I mean, I respect it. I respect the people who make these watches. It's a nice touch. So that's always, to me, that's just, I like it. I think it just adds more character to the watch personally. But you get the mill fold over clasp. You actually get screw down pins. These aren't push pins. So you're going to need you some little baby ass screwdrivers. You know what I mean? To get in there and get those out. So it's basically everything we've been begging Seiko to do for the last, decade? Santa Martin's like, hey, how about we just give it to you for around $300? Meanwhile, Seiko's still like, here's a press class from 1987. Enjoy. It's honestly insulting how good this bracelet feels for the money. Now, let's talk about what's under the hood. We've got the Miyota 9015. And if you've been, let me get a few shakes, get some little motion in this bad boy. Now, it is a loud movement. You can hear it spinning in there. Well, we got the Miyota 9015. And if you've been around micro brands, you know this movement. This Miyota is slim, higher beat automatic. We're talking 28,800 vibrations per hour, smooth sweep, hacking, hand winding, and about a 42-hour power reserve. It's basically the Japanese answer to the ETA 2824. Reliable, slim, and accurate enough you won't be screaming into the void. And honestly, it's a big step. It's a big step up from the Seiko NH35 you usually see in watches at this price. The NH35 is fine. It's like the Toyota Corolla, but the 9015, it's like stepping up into a Lexus with leather seats and a sunroof. Now, fair warning, Miyotas sometimes have that little rotor wobble. You'll feel it spin on your wrist like a tiny fidget spinner under the case back. Some people hate it. Some people weirdly love it. Me, I call it character. It's like a watch. The watch is reminding you, hey buddy, I'm still here. I'm working for you. All right. On the wrist, the SN0 wears better than you think for a 42 millimeter diver. I don't really want to call it a diver. I want to call it a dress watch because, you know, I feel like I got my shit together when I wear this watch. But the lugs are short enough not to overhang, you know, and the bracelet balances out so it doesn't feel like a brick. It also tapers down. I can't remember what this size. I think it might be 20 or 21. And I think it tapers down to a 16. So the bracelet feels really good on the wrist. So it doesn't feel like a brick. It's slim enough to slide under a dress, you know, a dress shirt cuff. So no issues there. And if you're a man, just roll your sleeves up, right? But who buys a purple enamel Xianzan dial to hide it under clothing? Not you, not me. You're going to wear this thing to work, to dinner, to the grocery store, and every time you look at it, you're going to smirk and think, yeah, my wrist looks way better than yours. All right, so let's talk about the price and value. The elephant in the room, the price. Around $300, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on if they have a sale going on. But $300 for a sapphire crystal, a well-finished case, killer loom, a bracelet Seiko should be embarrassed about, and a Miyota 9015 movement. That's not value, that's daylight robbery. If this had a Swiss name on the dial, you'd be looking at $2,000 easy. But because it says San Martin, you can snag it for the cost of a weekend getaway. It's almost unfair. So here's the bottom line. The San Martin SN0144 with a Janzan enamel dial is bold. It's cultural. It's well built. It's a total flex for the price. It's not a clone. It's not boring. And it's not overpriced. It's just a damn good watch that makes you smile every time you look at it. If you're a watch snob, you'll dismiss it. If you're a watch lover, you'll get it. And if you're still on the fence, just remember, life's too short for boring dials. Go San Martin with a Janzan purple. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Yo, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, tell your boys, tell your mama. Come check me out. I'll try to find some other watches in my watch box to try to do a review on, but I got some stuff coming down the line. I actually got a Casio coming in Tuesday, but it ain't like, this ain't no stock shit stank Casio. This is going to be a modded one, so hold on for that. I'll work on that Monday. But yeah, y'all stay saucy, keep it funky, stay classy. I'm out. Peace.